Picking up right where we left off in my Voice 1 video, this is going to look at Voice 2. So let's look at it and listen to it in isolation here. It looks like that. It sounds, let's turn it up a little bit. Sounds like this. Bring it back down here. The first thing you should notice is that this is a polyphonic patch, meaning we hear multiple pitches playing simultaneously. Now, just like last time, I'm going to introduce you to 3 new VCV modules and finish it off with a third-party effect. So let's dive in. We're going to use the same sequencer to create this second voice. For now, you can stop the sequencer by toggling the run button. And that way it's not beeping and blooping and disrupting your concentration while we try to build this new voice. Let's build this just in the row beneath where we built this last one. So the idea of the patch is this. What if we played the note from sequencer CV output 1 and CV output 2 and CV output 3 all at the same time? We could make chords in that way. And since we randomized the sequencer's knob positions, we might get some really cool or unexpected chord voicings when we send it to a quantizer. But before we can hear how it sounds, we have to find a way to combine those 3 note outputs into one single polyphonic cable. To accomplish this, VCV gives us a module called, right-click and type in merge. It's this one. That's our merge module. Merge takes up to 16 monophonic cable inputs and spits out, up here in the output, a single polyphonic output. So what you're going to do is send another copy, an additional cable, of CV output 1, CV output 2, CV output 3, to the first 3 merge inputs here. And just like last time, and for the exact same reasons, we need rescale and a quantizer to send volts per octave to our VCO. So here's a little tip. If you're on a Mac, this is hold, Command D. On a PC, it would be Control D, but select the modules you want to copy. And do that, Command D, Control D, and you'll notice you get an extra copy of them. I'm just going to drag these over here. Take that polyphonic output, send it to rescale. It's still set the way I had it set last time because I did that duplicate module key command. So that means my gain is set to 10%. Take the output of this, pitch output of this. And you'll notice, by the way, that what goes in to the merge are these skinny looking cables, and what comes out are these thick looking cables. The thick cable shows you that it's polyphonic. And my quantizer's still set to that same scale that I used last time, which is handy, again, because we used our Command D key command. It's set up like that. We can send all of this to another VCO. And for now, to hear it, I'm going to go ahead and connect one of these outputs to my audio module. You can hear there is a chord. The chord is made up of whatever notes are being spit out of these first 3 knobs over here. So in this case, I can look at my quantizer and see what's lit up. I've got C, E flat, and B flat. It doesn't really matter to me what it is. It's going to be interesting when the sequencer starts moving. We need an envelope to control a VCA, and we're probably going to want a filter. So right now, this is a great time. You did all of this in the last video. You did all of this in class with me last week. Pause the video and see if you can figure out how you're going to connect VCA and ADSR and VCF all together to get sort of the ability to control the amplitude and the movement of the voice. Go ahead and see if you can figure that out. Come back to me when either you've got it or you've given up. All right, ready for the solution? Here we go. This is what you have to do. You're going to connect the VCO to the VCA, and then you're going to connect the output of the VCA to the VCF. You're going to control the VCA with the envelope output from ADSR. You're going to trigger that with the trigger output from the sequencer. So every time the step changes, it is going to open the VCA and send sound to the VCF, and we'll figure out what to do with that. For now, we'll just send the VCF to our audio module. Send it to both left and right. Send an extra copy of it just so we can hear all of that. Let's find out. Yeah, so we've got signal there. Okay, that is the solution. But there's one problem. If you've tried to turn on your sequencer yet, you'll see that the way I've got my ADSR set, well, it's just kind of set to default right now. But if we go to the old copy of my patch, I just had A and D both way up. Really slow fade in, really long fade out. The fade in takes almost a second. The fade out takes almost a second. And I'm not using sustain or release in this case. That's not going to work with the trigger output because triggers generally aren't well suited to very long attack signals. So there are a few ways that we could handle this solution, but the way we're going to handle it is with a new module. Right click, and you're going to choose, let's see, this is called, I think it's just called push in VCV. Let's try that again. Right click, push. Yeah, it is. Push. It's a VCV module that just comes in the stock bundle. And we're going to put it down here. And what it does is it's going to accept a trigger input that I'm going to send. So the same trigger that I was sending right to the envelope, I'm going to send instead to this push input here. Basically, it's just a push button. So every time I push this, it is going to send either a trigger or a gate. And that's the magic, is that I can send a gate out instead. So I'm using the trigger cable coming from the sequencer as a way to automatically push the button so I don't have to with my mouse. And then I'm going to turn on this excellent function here called hold, which means as soon as it triggers the signal, it's just going to continue to sustain, which is the one thing, remember, that a gate has that a trigger doesn't, is sustain. So now the gate output is going to work like that. Ah, it's got that nice swell. Let me turn up the audio a little bit here. Get rid of this filter. We're not using that. Don't know where that came from. So now, when I start my sequencer by hitting that run button, when I make the next video, we're going to incorporate a more complicated mixer into our patch. But for now, I've just added the VCA mix module here, and sent all 4 individual outputs, 1 and 2 to left and right, 3 and 4 to left and right input of our audio, just so I could turn down the sequencer playing its monophonic line and kind of accentuate, turn up the chord patch we just made. Take a little bit of time with your patch. Play with the cutoff. Play with the resonance. See if you can find a spot that you like. Give it a little bit of time. We're only going to add one more thing, so you can pause the video here and come back when you're ready. The last thing we are going to add to this patch is a third-party effect called Chorus. Now, this is a real oversight. VCV has a Chorus module, but it is not part of the stock download. It comes with their upgrade, so it's not an oversight. It's a good marketing tool. I'm sorry. I shouldn't speak ill of VCV. They've given us a lot for nothing. So, the one that we're going to use is manufactured by this company called Volt, and it is called, I'm going to pronounce it, Horus. Make that J soft. And what we're going to do is just run our duplicate outputs from the filter into the chorus, and then come out of the chorus into our mix module. And chorus just gives it this nice, like, swirling width. We can add some depth to this, some rate. Might be a little much. And that's lovely. Now, if you go back and look at my patch, you'll know that I did do some other things to it, but remember, I'm going to make a whole video that is just about modulations, because we are going to go mod crazy in this. But for now, when you look at my big original patch, we're just ignoring the purple cables that I used to signify these are mods. All right. Take a little bit of time, fiddle around with your filter and envelope. They don't have to be set exactly like mine. Find a sound that you like. So, this is a good spot for us to stop. This is a good spot to end Voice 2. When we come back, we'll start on Voices. Technically, it's going to be a video of Voice 3 and 4, but they're kind of the same set of modules, just doing 2 different things. And we're going to add that big mixer made by MindMeld. The MindMeld mixer will give us some extra options. Until then, it is time to bounce. This is Scott Velasco fading out.